Hey, welcome everybody. We're going to be talking today about uh, getting started with video. Here, let me just multitask for a second. All right. Live streaming, I think, preparing, setting it up. I guess I could have started this earlier. There we go. Preparing, peachy. Setting it up. I guess I could. Uh, I closed it. I don't know if it's still streaming, but just don't know. But it's all I can do at one time. So today we're going to be talking about using video in marketing. Um, and Angela, if you have a moment, you might look and see, is it really live streaming on YouTube?
Checking now.
I had to close it because it was making a lot of noise.
It
Um,
is.
it is.
You're
Well,
good.
wonderful. So I'm capturing all this great stuff. So video. Let me share my screen. Why not? And here, let me do this first. So many things to do. All right. So there's a handout for those of you that are looking for a handout. And we're going to talk about getting started with video marketing. There is a lot of different layers and things you could do. EXP actually has a coaching program called Passive Prospecting, and it's like $350 or something like that. It's done by some guys in Texas, I think Dallas or whatever, and it's about YouTube videos. Essentially, is the whole thing. And the goal here is for you to be able to get real estate business without having to buy leads, without door knocking, without cold calling. Passive prospective means that you're doing something for which people will respond and you'll be able to get their information. Now, just sort of to explain the process that we're going to go through, the process involves, first of all, creating some video content that would be interesting to people that might be potential clients. So that includes thinking about who your potential clients might be. For example, the people that are in Dallas that were doing this, they know that they have a lot of people moving in that are relocating into Dallas. So a lot of their emphasis was on people moving to Dallas. Now, we in California might have more people moving to Dallas than moving in. So our message and our group would be a little bit different. Right. And so we're going to talk about some of those ideas, but one of the things you'd want to do is to identify who are you marketing to, right? Who would be, this is called the avatar. If you made a profile of the person that you were hoping to reach, what would they look like? So that's step one, identifying who we're targeting. Step two is creating content that they might find interesting, in particular things they're already searching for. Step three, after you've provided the content, is to include a call to action such that you have some mechanism of getting them to give up their contact information. Because we're not just in the business of dissemination of information, we're in the business of sales. And to be in sales, it means we have to have somebody to sell to, which means we need to get their contact information. Why video marketing? If you haven't heard the statistic before, I'll be the first then to tell you. But I think most people realize that the number one search engine in the world is Google. That's number one. The question is, which search engine is number two? Where do people go after Google to conduct the most searches? And the answer is YouTube. It's more than Bing, more than X or any other platform. right? And in fact, the number of searches on YouTube is going up at a increasing rate. And it's actually projected at some point that more people are going to be conducting searches on YouTube than on Google itself. So that's why we're talking about video marketing. 73% of homeowners say they're more likely to list with a real estate agent who uses video. If you're going on a listing appointment, it is quite likely that the potential seller is going to Google search your name. If a YouTube channel comes up and the YouTube channel has information that the homeowner would find interesting and useful, they're much more likely to list with you. 86% of home buyers use video to research a community or property. And I'm going to show you how to actually create a community video or a series of community videos using software that, well, you pretty much have already. It increases audience engagement and can lead to higher conversion rates. If you were to pay $600 a month to get leads from Zillow, you need to realize that the conversion rate on one of those leads, if putting leads in rabbit ears, is far less than 1%. You need a lot of them. But somebody that reacts to a video and gives you their contact information because you've offered them something, that conversion rate is significantly higher. And it varies, right, depending on your message and what the call to action is. So it builds trust. We can use it to showcase properties better than photos. It boosts SEO and increases online visibility. Now, let me just give you an example of, I should have pulled this up, but let me give you an example of a real estate agent, EXP agent, Soo Min Kim, who's an agent in Austin, Texas. This graphs and charts here is from a software program that I use, but it shows that over his lifetime on YouTube, he's produced 189 videos and he has 3.11 million views. Yeah. In the last 30 days, he's produced 3 videos with 18,000 views. That's not too shabby. He has 21,000 subscribers. Not too bad. What does he do? Well, here's him talking about a market. Here's him talking about a neighborhood. He goes to houses and does walkthrough videos. Most of this he does with his cell phone. He goes to new home subdivisions. He walks in and says, hey, my name is, Soo Min. I'm a real estate agent. I want to take some videos to show to my out of area clients. They nod, grunt, and he walks through the models and he does videos. Videos of insides, videos of new homes. You get the idea. And he's in an area where there's new construction, which makes this easier. But if you look through his videos, you'll see sometimes he just does neighborhoods where and by the way, as a tip, a lot of the people that are doing neighborhood videos of real estate for sale simply do the outside. They walk around and they talk about the neighborhood. There'll be more on that a little bit later. But if you're wondering, that's an example, right? Showcasing properties, right? This works a lot better than just putting pictures. Types of real estate videos, listing videos. If you have a video and you want to create a walkthrough, that would be an example. Now, one of the nice things, and I was going to explain some of the things you can do with KV Core. Let me see if it'll let me open it twice. One of the things you can do with KV Core is that if you take a listing and you put it in the MLS and you have professional photographs, you can create through KV Core a walkthrough video from the photographs. You could also do your own walkthrough video. And I have one from a property I did in San Jose where I start by standing in front of the house and talking about the neighborhood and the schools and where the shopping is. And then it's like, let's go take a look at the house. And you walk through the house and like you were giving a tour to a buyer, talking all the way through. And if you go to the KV Core Design Center, you're going to see that one of the things you can create is a video, and it'll use the still pictures you've taken. It's been a while since I did this, but it'll actually create a video and give you a URL. And this is something that also could be downloaded as an MP4 file, which means you could upload it to your YouTube channel. Just saying. Listing videos, market update videos. One of the easy ways to do this, and we're going to go through some of the low-hanging fruit, right? Easy peasy things you could do to create a video. One of them is you could go to RPR, the Realtors Property Resource. And if you go to, research, and you go to residential market trends, and I'm in Morgan Hill. And by the way, I've got a listing. I mean, the listing is signed. We're still cleaning it up and staging photographs and all that. But I'm going to create a video and I'll show you sort of how to walk through that once I have it, because it connects in KV Core to the MLS. But this is a market trends, what's going on in Morgan Hill right now. You can see I could just say single family homes. I could pick condos and townhomes. There are quite a few of them in Morgan Hill. If somebody, by the way, I see there's some chat. If somebody has a question that you really want me to answer, raise your hand or shout it out. But anyhow, I could make a video about what's happening in the Morgan Hill market for single family homes. I could combine them together. I could, whatever I want to do. So,
Michael, could you go a little slower? I mean, not slow, slow, but just a little slower because it's clicking so fast, it's hard to make notes. Thank you.
okay. All right. That's one reason why we're recording this too. So you can, go through it. But in RPR, you go to research residential market trends, and then you put in the county, city, or zip code or neighborhood. For it to identify a neighborhood, the neighborhood would have to be a neighborhood that the multiple listing service um, sees. So, for example, in Morgan Hill isn't big enough that we have neighborhoods that have their own MLS code. San Jose does. So, for example, in San Jose, there is a neighborhood, an area called Blossom Valley, which is, of course, it's not going to show me right away. Blossom Valley in San Jose, California, that's a neighborhood. There's a bunch of neighborhoods in San Jose. But I'm going to just do Morgan Hill because that was what all my examples were. So it could be done by a city, it could be done by a zip code, it could be done by an MLS area. It can't go further down than that unless you drew a map or something, but it's not going to give you the same statistics. For example, in San Jose, there are neighborhoods called Rose Garden and Burbank. They're kind of close together, but neither of those two neighborhoods is an MLS defined area, which means it's not going to come up on the search because it's only able to find MLS defined areas. Now, the South County of Santa Clara County, which is Morgan Hill, San Martin, and Gilroy, is an MLS defined area. And so I could pull up statistics for that. Does that make sense to everybody? City, zip, or MLS defined neighborhoods. So the default is single family condos and townhomes. And you'll notice there's a whole bunch of graphs and charts, right? Just a whole bunch of them. Now, when I'm doing a market update video, I typically would only talk about the one that's on the screen right now, because this one answers most of the people's questions. Is it a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? How strong of a seller's market? What are the months of inventory? What is the list to sales price ratio? What are the median days on market? And what is the median sold price? As you can see, this is a good area to have a listing, right? Because they generally sell quickly for more than what they're listed for, and there isn't a lot of inventory. Now, the idea here is, okay, what am I going to do if I'm going to make a video of this? Well, there's two buttons up here. One of them is create a script. And if we click on this, it's going to give us choices. This is artificial intelligence helping us. So, are you friendly and casual, engaging or professional? I like friendly and casual. Am I targeting buyers, sellers, or both buyers and sellers? Notice there are many choices here. So depending upon what I was doing, for example, if I were doing a market update in a neighborhood that would tend to attract first-time home buyers, or let's say instead of doing single-family homes and condos and townhomes, I was just doing condos and townhomes, I might be thinking that would be first-time home buyers if the median price is expensive enough that people generally would have to sell something to buy something. You get the idea. Now, notice I get three choices here. The analyze metrics explains to me, if I don't understand what all those graphs and charts say. Social media are things that you could post on a social media campaign, and create video script is what we're doing today. So you click on it, and it gives you a sample script. Opening shot of Michael Devlin standing in front of a beautiful home in Morgan Hill, California. So you don't have to do this, but the best practice would be is to take your video recording equipment, your cell phone, and you might want to do a little bit of research on your cell phone. For example, most cell phones have a front and back camera. The front camera generally is not as high resolution as the back camera, generally not. Now, my Android, which is like a Pixel 6 or 7 or something like that, it actually has three different lenses on the back. And it has, if you go into the settings, the ability to increase the resolution to 4K. Virtually all cell phones can do this, which means if I'm using the back camera and I'm using the lens that is appropriate for doing the high resolution, I'm basically taking a video with about as high of a resolution as I'm going to be able to show on YouTube anyhow. And and I say Sue Min Kim and others, they just are holding it and talking. Right? You could use a selfie stick. You'll see people doing that. If you have a friend that would go with you that could video and run the camera while you talk, that would be better. But you could stand in front of a house in beautiful Morgan Hill and say, hey there, everyone. It's Michael Devlin here, your friendly neighborhood realtor. With eXp Realty, today I've got some exciting marketing updates for you all here in Morgan Hill, California. Actually, we would say y'all here in Morgan Hill, California, but anyhow. Now, it then says cut to the graphic, and it's got the different numbers, and then it goes back. So you could copy the script, export it to Microsoft Word, make a PDF, send it to Google Docs, export it to a text file, send it by email. You pick whichever one's going to work with you. All right, so now we have a script. You would want to practice the script. Just saying. Is it possible that your cell phone could be trained to be a teleprompter? The answer is yes. And teleprompting does not work as well as a natural conversation. Just saying, I've tried both. It's very difficult to get the same energy, the same responsiveness if you're just reading something off of a screen. This isn't that complicated practice. Now, if you're wondering, well, what would I put on the screen? So the opening shot is me standing in front of a nice house. I delivered that little message. Now, what do I do? Well, if you go to the share button, you'll notice, first of all, that this allows me to simply post this graphic on Facebook, LinkedIn, or more. I'm not sure which social media program that is, but if I clicked on more, notice it gives me two choices for the image and a choice for just copying it. So if I either copied it or I downloaded it, I copy it to the clipboard, or I could download it as a PNG or JPEG file. Now I have it. Well, what would I do with it? Well, as you're going to see, there's a lot of easy editing software that you could use to, while you're talking about the numbers, you could insert that graphic. In future videos, we could go through some of that. Most of you have a cell phone that would allow you to edit a video. Just saying. If you're wondering, well, if I don't, what else could I do? You could go to Google Slides, which is format, slide, layout, blank. So there it is, Google Slides. So I could be making a video where I edit it together. So I have a couple of shots of me standing in front of a house, talking. I have a beginning, I have an ending, but I also could record video right from my computer screen. And then I could splice it together. Right. This isn't that difficult to do. And if you're wondering what program could you use if you were to make this a full screen and you wanted to record it, what program could you possibly use that would do that for free and would save it as an MP4 file? And the answer is, well, Zoom. Right? Even a free version of Zoom allows you to do like a 45-minute video. We don't want to do 40-minute videos. This should be under 5 minutes. You can even have your picture up in the corner. You could you have your script, which you've memorized, and you show this and you talk about what it says. Any questions about that so far? How many of you?
Michael, are you using Zoom to do the free Zoom software? Is that what you're using,
For
or do you
recording,
like
I
better?
actually have way too many software programs. I have way
What do
too
you think it
uh,
would be the easiest for someone starting off?
Zoom,
Thank you.
yeah. And because Zoom also has the little, it's called a PIP or PIP, a picture in picture, right? Where if you're just recording Zoom, and by the way, in Google Slides or PowerPoint, you could um, say, since I'm using my camera, it's not going to let me do this. But if you want to get fancy, right, and you use PowerPoint, which, by the way, Microsoft gives you a free PowerPoint program. If you didn't know that, it's in there online. You also can get something that you could download. if I'm doing PowerPoint and I go to insert, one of the choices is called Cameo. And what Cameo does is that it creates a video. And because my camera is already being used to record me here, let me see if I were to just for momentarily. There we go. So I now have a video of me. And by the way, even though it shows my messy background, when you get ready to produce the video, it allows you to blur out the background. So if I wanted to make a video of me explaining this, I could use PowerPoint. I could be talking. I could discuss it. I could do all that. And when I'm done, I can record it and send it to an MP4 file, which would then allow me. So if I go over here and I say I want to record from the current slide, I don't know how much of this it's going to show you, but you'll notice there's a teleprompter thing at the top. So I could take those notes that were written by RPR's artificial intelligence program. I could drop them in here. When I click on the record button, it's going to show me, it'll scroll through those words. It's recording me at the bottom talking, just to prove. Let me see if I can move this. Uh, I don't know where to move it, but I can go down here and blur the background if I want to. I can make a video. It's got me talking. It's got the graphic. I've got the teleprompter. Hi everybody. This is Mike Devlin with eXp Realty giving a market update for what's going on in the real estate market in Morgan Hill, California. And I just read it off. And when I'm done, it will export this as an MP4 file, which is the format that you could upload directly into YouTube. So what software could you use to do this? You could use PowerPoint. There's a free version waiting for you. You could use Zoom. Zoom gives you a rectangular picture. There are ways of changing that, and you could move it around just like I moved the Cameo. It'll let you download it as an MP4 file. I also, some of you that have clicked on the links that I provide when I'm doing how to fill out forms know that I use a program called Loom. And Loom is another, this is something though that costs some money. I pay for Loom, but Loom is a program that also makes videos. And I like the circular one. And I'm not going to actually start right now. One of the things that I like about Loom, which is someplace where I know I don't want to do this now, I'll do it later, is that I can embed a Loom video in a Gmail email. And it has like a screenshot and people click on it, it opens up. Any questions about that? Do you think you could do that?
Yeah. If you're just starting off, you said to go ahead and just use Zoom. Do you think Loom, even though there's a cost to it, I like the way that it looked.
That
That
was,
it,
you didn't really see what Loom, like if you may have seen some of my Loom files, and there's a video of me. It's a circular one. I can move it around. It blurs the background. These are a bunch of Loom videos that I've made that on how to fill out the California BRBC form and the property showing that's the program I used. But at the beginning, if you don't want to spend money, I I I would recommend that you could use Microsoft PowerPoint, um, and or Zoom, and both of which are free, this is what it would look like online, the Microsoft program, and I can insert a cameo. I could put in the slide. I could record it and send it out and do all that. So the easiest, and I have to admit, a lot of times because I'm in a hurry, I just use Zoom. I just go to Zoom and I get everything ready and I click on start a video. And there's nobody there but me. I'm only just talking to myself, but I'm recording the screen just like I am right now. When I'm done, I hit stop. It downloads the MP4 file. I trim it, which means that there's usually some stuff at the beginning that needs to be gotten rid of. Whatever computer you have already has software that will allow you to trim it. It comes on Macs, it comes on Windows. Even if you upload it to YouTube, YouTube has built-in software that would allow you to trim the video. That's the easiest way to do it, is using Zoom, PowerPoint, or as you can see, I've got a lot of others. Screencast-O-Matic, they've changed their name now to something else. I've got that version. The thing about, there are a lot of free programs that will allow you to make videos. Like Loom allows, I believe, a 5-minute video, but no, as long as you don't need to edit it. Now, if I pay for a Loom account so I can edit the video. OBS, which is an open source program, will allow you to do more than you ever wanted to do. The downside of OBS is you better know what you're doing. It's not a user-friendly program. Screencast-O-Matic, I really love their name, but they changed it because I guess they thought it sounded, tacky. But what Screencast-O-Matic does, it is one of the few free programs that would allow you to both show a screen and the webcam for 15 minutes. Most of them either won't let you do both or they'll only let you do it for 5 minutes. And then there's a bunch of others, right? And editing, there's a bunch of different editing, I try not to do a lot of editing because it takes more time and, I just don't like doing it. And then obviously Android phones, iPhones all have, screen recorders built into them. Now, there's a bunch of AI programs. I wanted to show you another type of video, right? So the listing video simply means walking through a house. Market update videos the easy way to do that is simply to go to RPR and pull up one of their many different slides and talk about it. Neighborhood tour. Now, one of the more popular videos is what about the different neighborhoods? And let me see if I can find it. So is this it? All right. So this is a program which I've mentioned before. It's an AI program. It's called notdiamond.com. Not Diamond. N-O-T diamond.ai. I'm sorry, it's not a .com. But if you Google search not diamond, it's going to come up. Now, the thing about Not Diamond is, one, it searches all of the major AI programs, ChatGPT 4.0, Perplexity, Claude, a whole bunch of them. And number two, it doesn't cost anything. Normally, for you to run a search in ChatGPT 4.0, you have to have an upgraded subscription, which costs about $20 a month. This will give you results from ChatGPT 4.0 without you paying anything. In fact, at this moment, there is no way to pay them even if you wanted to make a donation. Now, what I did is I wrote a prompt which says, I am making a video as a real estate agent for YouTube on the different neighborhoods in Morgan Hill, California. Please provide a list and description of each neighborhood and a script for the video, include media suggestions. Now, in Not Diamond, what you're looking at, they call the arena mode, in that it's got like two different results competing against each other. And it asks, which one do you like? I picked the one on the right. Now you'll see what it came up with is, here are the different neighborhoods: downtown Morgan Hill. Description, here's a script. Welcome to downtown Morgan Hill, the heart of our city. Here you can enjoy a variety of restaurants, unique shops, participate in community events such as our weekly farmer market. It's the perfect place to experience a local culture and lifestyle. And they have suggestions as to what you might put in the background. Madrone is another neighborhood. Paradise Valley and Chesbro Lake is a neighborhood. Lagos Valley is a neighborhood. San Martin, which is another little town, but South Morgan Hill is a neighborhood. Coyote Valley, Anderson Lake, Capriano, Coyote Creek, Barrett. And there are scripts and media suggestions. And once you pick which of the two you like, it'll tell you where it came from. And this one, it says down here, came from Perplexity, whereas the one on the left, which isn't bad, but didn't seem to have everything. Notice it even has, however, some neighborhoods that the one on the right doesn't have. So you could combine them too, but that one came from ChatGPT 4.0. Right. So do you have to have every single neighborhood? Not necessarily, but you could do one at a time, right? You could do, and if you were to Google search, where is it? If you were to Google search, that's it. What are the best neighborhoods in Morgan Hill, California? And I have Gemini, which is an AI program that works with Google. Notice it's given me its own list. Then there's this, this is a real estate group talking about the guide. That's a realtor. This is just a Visit Morgan Hill site, neighborhoods in Morgan Hill. Here are some real estate agent videos. Watch this before moving to Morgan Hill. Know this before moving to Morgan Hill. Moving to Morgan Hill, here are the 5 best neighborhoods. And more, right? So if I wanted to put together a complete guide to buying a home in Morgan Hill, moving to Morgan Hill, I would simply go through all this, and then here's a summary of all the different areas. And I would watch the videos of the other real estate agents and see what they've done. Does that make sense to everybody? I also took, by the way, that same prompt, the one that I put in Not Diamond, and I put it in Copilot, and you can see it gave me, again, a list of the different areas in Morgan Hill, pretty much the same list, and it gave me suggestions. And if I wanted to, I could go to Gemini and ask it the same thing. So this isn't that difficult to do research. And you'll see, Jackson Oaks is a neighborhood, but it wasn't on the list. Tennyson. So what you find is that if you keep doing this, that many of the different AI programs has somewhat of a different list of neighborhoods. By the way, if you're wondering, I go into this in too much detail, maybe, about neighborhoods. But one of the things I like about Google, don't make me a liar, Google. You'll see as I zoom in and out of Google, it will at some point start giving me someplace. Maybe it's not neighborhoods. So what I would be doing, one of the things that I would do in order to create graphics in the background is I would go into Google and I would do like a bird's eye view, and there are ways of tilting it and things like that. You could do a satellite picture of it. You could take pictures of the parks that are in the area. You could Google search and you'd find pictures of the parks and things like that. All right. That didn't work out as well as I. Client testimonials, if you have them, you'll notice if you look at what the real estate agents post on their YouTube channel, they have videos of happy clients saying what a great job they did. If you don't have any happy clients, either because you don't have any clients or the ones you do have are not happy, ask yourself who owes you money and see if you can get them to give you a testimonial. Kind of kidding. But you'll notice that real estate agents go out of their way to do a video testimonial with their clients. They're standing in front of the house, they're happy, they just got the keys. You give them the big fake key to hold, and they smile, and I'll show you an example. This is an agent that I mentored and coached. She's a local agent. When she was starting, was that her? Was that Amanda talking? So this is an example. I originally, when she was getting into this, was helping her get her YouTube channel going. She's not doing as much as Sumin Kim, but you'll see this isn't too bad. She's made 322 videos, 357,000 views in the last 30 days, almost 3,000 views. That's not too bad. And if you look at what she's doing, here are selling tips, here are pros and cons. There's Amanda. What should I do? Should I buy or rent? Here's something about Sacramento because people from here move. They have expert tips and educational advice, home selling tips, neighborhoods, new construction tours. You get the idea, right? Most of this is very similar. That's her partner, Michael. How you doing? And that it wouldn't hurt for you if you're interested in getting business from doing YouTube to check out other agents that are doing YouTube.
Michael, without critiquing Amanda, because I don't know her and haven't had a chance to look at everything, is it wise to do so much, or is it because it's targeted to different things? Could you give your advice that you would give to someone just starting on this?
Well, it's simplicity oftentimes is valuable when you're getting started. The challenge for Silicon Valley is that there are so many neighborhoods. San Jose is a big city. And I believe when we used to identify what the major MLS areas are in the San Jose and the surrounding suburbs, the answer is there's like 19. Santa Clara County has, I believe, 19 different MLS areas. So there are people that are interested in Blossom Valley, but then they want to know the difference between Blossom Valley and Santa Teresa. And well, Blossom Valley is close to Cambrian. What about Cambrian? Well, Cambrian is close to Los Gatos, and Cambrian also is close to Campbell, and Campbell is close to Willow Glen, and Willow Glen. You understand? I mean, and so if you were trying to capture people that are searching for buying a home in Santa Clara County or buying a home in San Jose, you're going to want to have videos that match the areas they might be searching for. So, and she didn't start off originally when she talked to me, she just wanted me to help her with creating market statistics and where did I get them and the stuff that I was sharing with you at the beginning. But then she also knows that people from San Jose moved to Sacramento. They probably moved to Austin. They may move to Dallas. So by making videos about moving to those areas, people that are here might actually click on them. And then now she's communicating with somebody that's potentially selling their property here. So at the beginning, it's good to make a video, right? And then maybe make another one and to work into this. She didn't start off making that many videos. She's been doing this for a while. I've been doing this for a while, which is why, there's so many videos. She's got a lot of them, but they're short and, you know, to the point. I don't know if that answered your question.
That was a great answer. Thank you.
Yeah. You want to get an established pattern where you're doing a video a week or every other week or at least once a month. And by the way, just as a tip, when it comes time to creating your YouTube channel, and if you don't know how to create a YouTube channel, Google search, how do I create a YouTube channel? Or ask Gemini or Chat or that not Diamond, how do I create a YouTube channel? You're going to get the answer. It's not very difficult. Now, my suggestion, however, is don't launch the channel until you've made some videos. Because I've done this too. If I showed you, I got way too many YouTube channels, some of which are I've never posted anything. I just thought it'd be great to capture the name before somebody else took it. But what happens when you create a YouTube channel is Google will look at it, right? Think of the big red bloodshot eye of Google will start to turn and stare at your YouTube channel. And when it sees there's nothing there, it's going to go on. And it's so what works better in order to get Google to pay attention to you is that you make a few videos first, 3 or 4, then create the YouTube channel so that you can immediately upload content. Just saying. All right.
Great. Can you also use these on Nextdoor, or do they not like that?
Well, I don't know what Nextdoor's rules are.
Okay,
Um,
when you were talking about the local, I thought that might be a neat place to post it, but I'll find out what they are.
so Nextdoor, and like if I went into Facebook, there's a bunch of Morgan Hill Facebook groups. There was an auto parts store that burnt down yesterday, and there's videos of it. Now, most of those community groups don't want you to be doing a overtly solicitation of business video, but a neighborhood video would be, something they would probably like.
That's exactly what I was thinking because you've talked about it in your other trainings that you don't want to be in their face as a realtor, but also many people say in our business, as long as we bring value, we bring information, we bring things like that. So if it were a video, not just on stats, I was
Right.
wondering.
If it's something about the community and you could, like what I usually do is post something like LinkedIn doesn't care. YouTube doesn't care. Um, Instagram, there's a program called Opus, which is a program that takes your longer videos and creates reels and shorts out of them because those are bigger deals and you could post them. If you post it right, in LinkedIn and a Facebook business page and things like that, the video will be in the post, which means, how many of you have ever been looking at a post on Facebook and all of a sudden you start hearing music and talking and it's running. They've embedded it in the video, right? Which, I mean, in the post, which is different than simply having a link to it. But as an example, we're back to not diamond. So, what are the best sushi, SUSHSHI? What are the best sushi restaurants in Morgan Hill, California? Yeah, and you can see it spits out a list. Some of these I can tell you are not actually in Morgan Hill, but they're close by. So could you do a post? What's interesting is on the left, these are all real sushi restaurants in Morgan Hill. Don't ask me how I know. The ones on the right are in the general area, but not actually in Morgan Hill. I happen to know Morgan Hill and I happen to know sushi, and I just know that. So if I clicked on this, so one of the kinds of videos you could do are what are the best sushi restaurants in Morgan Hill? Um, what are the best coffee shops in Morgan Hill? And again, it's going to give you a list. Now, Morgan Hill has see now the one on the right is giving me things. The Rusty Pelican is not a coffee shop. Bubbles, believe me, is not a coffee shop. Ladera Grill is, most of these, but the one on the left, these are all coffee shops in Morgan Hill. Well, Morgan Hill has lots of taquerias. I mean, lots of them. So you start to get the idea, you can do reviews of businesses, what kind of businesses there are in a particular neighborhood, and somebody might be searching for coffee shops in Morgan Hill. Right? And then, there they are. And you might want to, verify, but you get the idea. See, now things like this, they probably wouldn't mind in next door and that sort of thing. More questions about this? Okay. One of the other things I thought I would cover while we're doing this, because we're talking about video. So let's say I've created a video about what's going on in Morgan Hill. In the real estate market, and I know in my database in KV Core, I have some Morgan hillbillies. That's what they call people in Morgan Hill sometimes. I have some Morgan hillbillies, and I think they would be interested in getting a market update of what's going on in Morgan Hill. Now, again, we're talking about video. I'm going to cut this down. So I'm picking on Monica here. So I'm looking at a contact. Now, I could do this in bulk, but I also could do it individually. So you'll notice one of the choices I have with the contact is what's called core video. And if I click on it, now it's not going to let me record unless I turn off the camera for a moment. Hold on. All right. So if I click on record new video, what it's going to do is it's going to record a video. And I could put in a title. I've sort of clicked out of it, I guess, but it's going to make a video, which I could then save. Doesn't do the blurred background as well, so I have to be careful about that. If I've already made a video, I could put it in a library. If my video is on YouTube, for example, and let's say, I don't mean to pick on Amanda, but since we're here,
Hey guys, have you ever gotten that feeling you're sitting at home and you just all of a sudden
see now that could be Loom. Notice how many of you recognize that document that he's looking at? Anyone? I post on our workplace,
ACM, keeping current matters.
I post on the workplace group home buying guides, home selling guides, things like that, which is what he's basically he's going to go through it, right? You can see there's a video of, you could do that too, right? The circular could be, usually that's Loom. I don't know for sure which program he's using, but it could be Loom. You could even make it, it's possible to configure Zoom so it would do that. But let's say that was me talking and I went over here and I copied the embed code, right? So if you made a video and your video is on YouTube, did everybody see what I did there? I went to share, and instead of copying the link, I copied the embed code. And when I come over here to KV Core, you'll notice that there's a symbol that looks like the embed code. And when I paste it in, there's the video, which I can now email to everybody. It's in my database.
Would you go back? You said you went to share, you copied the video embedded code and you went to share in KB Core?
No,
Or you went to
I
share
went,
in
first
on
of
the
all,
chart?
I went to share in the video.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say.
And
Okay.
I clicked on those two little carrots,
The embedded, right?
and then it pops up, and I click once and I copy it. And then I go back to KV Core, where someplace I was writing a email. So if I were to click on send an email and I click on the same caret thing and I click on save, it embeds the email. I mean, the video in the email.
Thank you. It was the embed in the email that I missed.
Right,
Thank you.
it's the same symbol that you clicked on to share it. So now
Thank
I've embedded in the email. Now, let's say I want to send it to a whole bunch of people. Like, let's say I have I don't have enough time to go through all of the KV Core campaigns, but if I created a campaign, so when somebody comes in it, like those calls to action, right? Let me just finish this because we're kind of running to the end. And if there's interest, I'd be happy to go to the next step, right? Because the first step is you got to figure out what kind of videos you want, and then what are you going to do with them. I've talked about at the end, I mean, I've got more information than you may need right now, but I talked EXP Marketing Center. Let me do that, right? I've mentioned KV Core and the Realtors Property Resource. Let me talk about the KV Core Marketing Center, because if you're looking for something really easy, and I know you guys are looking for something really easy, isn't that true? We all want it to be easy. If you go into the KV Core Marketing Center, you'll notice there's a section called videos.
Michael,
And
are you
so
sharing your screen?
according to Zoom, I am.
Yes, he is. We can see it.
All right. So there's a listing videos, which are some of these, but consumer facing videos. This is the easiest thing to do. Now you'll see that there are reasons to own a home, tips for selling your home, the home buying process, et cetera, et cetera. There's a whole bunch of these. All right. And let's say you wanted to 6 tips for selling your home. So you click on this, and what it's going to do is show you this is what they're planning to put on the video. So if you don't like that whole thing as like you want to get rid of Morgan Hill and you don't want to say something other than mega icon team leader, we don't say the icon anymore, but it's got my DRE number, it's got the logo, it's got my contact information. Okay, if that's good, I can click on save. And if I download it, well, let me do it. I can download it as an MP4 and I have to name it. 6 tips to sell. I'm not spending a lot of time, but what it's going to do is it's going to make a video and it's going to send me an email, which doesn't take very long. But if you wanted to know what it's going to look like, you get the idea. All right, so you can watch them, find one you like, check out to make sure your information on your profile matches what you like. You give it a name, you download it as an MP4 file. MP4 files can be uploaded to YouTube. You could share it on social media. You're doing video without having to do very much work. So can we embed the Loom video in a Gmail? All right. So what I like about Loom, if I go to Gmail and so this is me writing an email. Down here, there's a Loom, insert Loom recording. So if I put the cursor in there and I click on the Loom, and I could make a video right now. Some of you that have sent me emails with long questions, sometimes what I do is I hit reply and I record a video to send out. But I also could make a video on Loom and it would just automatically pop it in. Now, there's also, I don't know if I've activated it on this, but there's also in addition to Loom, there's a program called Cloud HQ, and I haven't activated it, but Cloud HQ has a free insert video into Gmail program. It won't do the blurred background and it doesn't do screen sharing. But if I go to cloud, free video email for Gmail, and I can record a video, if I install the extension, which I have, but I took it off because it was, I think conflicting with something. But if I wanted to send somebody a video and I didn't want to do Loom, and sometimes I do this if I just want it to be quick. It has, here we go. You see, here is a new little icon. And if I click on it, it's going to allow me, see, I'm already using the camera, but it would allow me to create a video right then and there, and I can embed that into a Gmail. So if you want to create video in the email, you could use KV Core. KV Core allows you to record it and put it in the email. You could use YouTube to store it and embed it in the email. You could use Loom or Cloud HQ, which works in the Gmail program and would allow you to send videos. Could that be more effective than you writing them an email? Yeah. That was an audience participation, opportunity.
Yes, absolutely.
It'd be
So,
excellent. It also
so
lets us respond. You showed us a way that we can respond to them um, in an action instead of just words.
right. And sometimes it's easier for me to explain something than to type up the explanation. Yeah.
Well, I think it's also more engaging, than because a lot of people don't read, if you do a couple paragraphs, but if you can do it in a verbal to make a video to answer, I think it's an excellent class today. Is there a way, Michael, you said in Loom you can blur the background?
Yeah.
When you have time in one of your classes, could you show us how to import a background? Not like we were saying that we don't want to necessarily, show ourselves as a realtor, to do a local or to do restaurants or whatever. We have the EXP background, but I'd love to be able, you see it on the news, you see it on everything nowadays with Zoom. Is there a way to import?
Like you're talking about, that's not Morgan Hill behind me, for those of you that know what Morgan Hill looks like. So how did I do this? And I don't think it'll let you see while I'm doing it. But if I go down to video in Zoom and I go to video settings, or actually it's adjust background and effects. I don't think it shows you what's on but it's showing me. I don't think it does. But they now have under virtual backgrounds an AI program that'll generate a background. The background behind me was generated by Zoom using their artificial intelligence. So Zoom has more options for backgrounds, better than Google Meet, better than Loom. I'm just saying, the one thing about Zoom that I like is that it has all sorts of different kinds of backgrounds. And I don't think, because this is a new computer, that I've got it set up, but this is one of their standard ones. And you can see, the waves and everything. So if you go to any program that has videos, and you download a short video or even a long video, you can add that video into your background on Zoom. Any video, right, that's an MP4 file, I can import as a background. So I have some of you, if you look at my videos, you'll see during the fall, it looks like I'm sitting outside and you'll see leaves blowing by and there's a cat, rolling around. And yeah, I mean, it's got movement, right? And that can be done very easily on Zoom by changing the background. If you have a picture, a photograph, you can simply go to Zoom and say, I want you to use that picture, right? And so again, this is a new computer, so it doesn't have all of them, but this is a artificial intelligence generated picture from the Zoom program. I didn't even have to import it. It just asked me what I wanted, and I made it. That it works. Zoom wins the easy to create backgrounds. It just does.
You notice, Michael, in Zoom, though, it distorts sometimes, like as you were talking, it distorts your picture, your face. So it becomes a distraction. Is there anything out there that's better that would allow you, like when you said, incorporate or use a photo? Okay, like that. That's really nice because you're still the focus, even though it's a nice background.
I just told Zoom's AI program to generate a real estate office background. That's all I did.
I'll go back into Zoom. Thank you.
And so what you're seeing in the distortion, that may be just what I look like. All right,
No, you're very handsome. It was taking the outline of your face and distorting it with the palm tree. Thank you.
Well, that's one I normally don't use, so I don't know about that one. But anyhow, if you want more of this, we could talk about, going through some of the specific things. We'll see how it goes. I may have an active listing by then where I could show what we would do when you have one to create the videos and things like that. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.